Ellie interrupting, I know what we agreed, but someone knows. Mason. They sent me tapes, pictures. They're watching me. Mason panicking. Wait. What? No. 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 We swore to forget about that night. It wasn't our fault. Ellie. Maybe it wasn't, but they think it is, and now they're coming for us. Mason's voice grows more frantic as the camera shifts between the two characters. Mason, this is bad. Ellie. Really bad. Do you think it's... Ellie interrupting. I don't know who it is. Mason. But we need to figure it out before it's too late. Narrator voiceover. Ellie's gut told her Mason wasn't telling her everything. There was something he wasn't saying, something about that night at Ravenwood House. Ellie hears a faint noise outside her window, a soft scraping sound. She freezes, phone still in hand. Ellie. Mason. I think someone's here. Mason's voice rises in alarm. Mason. Ellie, don't hang up. Just stay calm. Stay on the line. The camera pans to the window as Ellie inches toward it, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. She pulls the curtain aside slowly, but there's nothing there. Just the wind brushing the tree branches against the glass. Ellie relieved. It's just the tree. False alarm, but as she turns back toward her desk, the camera reveals something she doesn't see: a single muddy footprint on her bedroom floor. Narrator voiceover. Ellie thought she was safe, but safety was just an illusion. The camera zooms out, showing Ellie and her room from the perspective of someone outside her window, hidden in the shadows. The screen fades to black as the ominous sound of heavy breathing grows louder. Narrator voiceover. The past wasn't just catching up to Ellie, it was already in her house. The screen opens on a shot of Ellie staring at the muddy footprint on her bedroom floor. Her breathing quickens as she clutches her phone tightly, still connected to Mason. Ellie whispering, Mason, someone was here. Mason alarmed, what do you mean, in your house? Did you lock the door? Ellie panicked, I don't know. It wasn't there before. There's mud. I didn't track it in. Mason's voice grows more urgent. Mason. Ellie, listen to me. You need to leave, right now. Go to your parents or... Ellie cutting him off. I can't. They'll think I'm crazy. And what if whoever this is still out there? Ellie grabs her flashlight and slowly checks her room, shining the beam under her bed, in the closet, and near the window. She finds nothing. The camera zooms in on her trembling hands as she picks up the muddy shoe box from the floor. Narrator voiceover. Ellie's mind raced, but she knew one thing for certain. She wasn't imagining this. Someone wanted her to feel afraid, and it was working. Cut to Mason pacing in his room, his face pale. He stops and looks toward his own closet, suddenly uneasy. Mason to himself, they wouldn't come here, right? The camera lingers on Mason as he hesitates, then throws open his closet door. Nothing but clothes. He lets out a shaky breath and sits on his bed, pulling out his laptop. He types Ravenwood House into the search bar, scanning the results nervously. Mason muttering, there has to be something we missed. Something we didn't see that night. Back in Ellie's room, her phone buzzes again. She flinches, but it's just another text message from the unknown number. Text message on screen. You're not safe. Neither is he. Ellie murmuring. He. Mason. She calls Mason again, her voice trembling. Ellie. They know about you too. You're not safe either. Mason looks at his phone in disbelief. Before he can respond, there's a sudden loud thud from somewhere in his house. He freezes, staring at his door. Mason whispering, "Ellie, I think someone's here." Ellie panicked. "What?" "Mason, get out of there. Now." The camera cuts to Mason as he slowly stands, holding his phone in one hand and a baseball bat in the other. He creeps toward his bedroom door, the sound of his heartbeat loud in the background. Narrator voiceover. Ellie wasn't the only one being hunted. Whoever was behind the tapes wasn't just watching, they were moving in. Ellie's voice crackles through Mason's phone as he reaches the bottom of the stairs. "Ellie. Mason, don't go down there. Just leave. Mason, I'm not running from this. I need to know who's doing this." The camera follows Mason as he inches toward the living room. The lights flicker ominously. He peers around the corner but finds no one. A single muddy footprint is visible on the hardwood floor leading toward the back door. It's wide open, the night wind blowing the curtains. Narrator voiceover. Mason thought he was alone, but he wasn't. The camera focuses on a dark shadow in the corner of the room, barely noticeable at first. As Mason steps closer to the open door, the shadow shifts slightly, just enough to suggest movement. Ellie shouting through the phone, "Mason, behind you." The screen cuts to black as Mason whirls around. A loud crashing sound echoes, followed by static. Narrator voiceover. Ellie had feared the worst. And now, she was sure of it, this was no ordinary warning. Whoever was after them had just made their first move. The screen opens on Ellie sprinting down a dark street, her hoodie pulled tightly over her head. Her flashlight bounces in her hand as she races toward Mason's house, her breath visible in the cold night air. Narrator voiceover. Ellie couldn't wait any longer. Mason wasn't answering his phone. The texts, the tapes, they were all connected to Ravenwood House, and if she didn't figure it out soon, she was certain she'd be next. The camera pans to Mason's house, eerily quiet. Ellie pushes the door open, finding it slightly ajar. The living room is a mess, chairs overturned, a broken lamp on the floor, and muddy footprints leading toward the stairs. Ellie whispering, "Mason, are you here?" No answer. She follows the footprints cautiously, her flashlight flickering as she climbs the stairs. A faint noise comes from Mason's room. She pushes the door open slowly to reveal Mason sitting on the floor, clutching his head. Ellie relieved. "Mason, you're okay?" Mason looks up at her, his face pale and his eyes wide with terror. "Mason." "Ellie, they're not going to stop. They won't stop until we go back." Ellie confused. "Back where?" Mason doesn't answer. Instead, he stands and pulls out his phone, showing Ellie a text he received just minutes ago. The message is identical to hers. Text message on screen, "Go to Ravenwood, midnight, or it all comes out." Narrator voiceover. Ellie and Mason had no choice. Whoever was behind this wanted them back at Ravenwood House, the place where it all began. The screen cuts to Ellie and Mason walking through the overgrown path leading to Ravenwood, a decrepit mansion hidden deep in the woods. The house looms ahead, its windows shattered and its walls covered in ivy. Thunder rumbles in the distance as they approach. Mason nervously, "I can't believe we're doing this again." Ellie confused. "Back where?" Mason doesn't answer. Instead, he stands and pulls out his phone, showing Ellie a text he received just minutes ago. The message is identical to hers. Text message on screen, go to Ravenwood, midnight, or it all comes out. Narrator voiceover, Ellie and Mason had no choice. Whoever was behind this wanted them back at Ravenwood House, the place where it all began. The screen cuts to Ellie and Mason walking through the overgrown path leading to Ravenwood, a decrepit mansion hidden deep in the woods. The house looms ahead, its windows shattered and its walls covered in ivy. Thunder rumbles in the distance as they approach. Mason nervously, I can't believe we're doing this again. Ellie determined, we don't have a choice. They know everything. The two step inside, their flashlights illuminating the dusty interior. The floorboards creak under their weight. Ellie stops suddenly, her flashlight catching a message scrawled on the wall in red paint. Message on wall on screen. Liars. Narrator voiceover, 2 years ago, Ellie and Mason thought they'd walked away from the truth. But Ravenwood hadn't forgotten, and now it was time to pay the price. Flashback sequences show Ellie, Mason, and other friends sneaking into Ravenwood 2 years ago. They laugh nervously as they explore the abandoned house, daring each other to venture deeper. But their fun turns to fear when they stumble upon a hidden room in the basement. Young Ellie whispering, "What is this place?" The hidden room is filled with strange objects, ritual symbols, old photographs, and a table covered in melted candles. On the floor, a faint chalk outline of a human figure. One of the friends, Claire, picks up a journal lying on the table. The entries talk about experiments, disappearances, and revenge. Claire reading aloud, "They'll never understand what I've done for them. They'll regret doubting me." The camera cuts to the group running out of the house in terror, dropping the journal in the process. Back in the present, Ellie and Mason find themselves in the same basement, the air thick people with tension. Ellie to Mason, do you remember what was written in the journal? That's what this is about. We should have taken it. We should have told someone. Mason whispering, it wasn't our fault. We didn't know. A sudden noise interrupts him. Footsteps echo from above, slow and deliberate. The two freeze, their flashlights darting around the room. Ellie panicked. Who's there? The footsteps stop. Then a voice calls out from the darkness, calm and chilling. Voice off screen, you shouldn't have come back. The camera pans to reveal a figure stepping into the light, a man in his late 40s, disheveled and holding the same journal Claire had read years ago. Asterisk asterisk narrator voiceover, asterisk asterisk, every town has its secrets. But in the sleepy little neighborhood of Brookhaven, those secrets have a way of creeping into the light. This is the story of Ellie Harper, a high school junior who stumbled onto something that would change her life forever, and not in a good way. Asterisk cut to Ellie Harper, a 17-year-old girl with sharp eyes and a curious mind, sitting at her desk in her cozy bedroom. She's surrounded by books and her trusty laptop, researching for her school project. A knock on the door startles her. Asterisk asterisk Ellie to herself, asterisk asterisk. Geez, Mom, it's just a history project. I'm not planning a heist or anything. Asterisk she opens the door to find her mom holding a package addressed to Ellie, no return address. Just her name written in precise, blocky handwriting, asterisk. Asterisk asterisk Mom, asterisk asterisk, this came for you, from someone. Doesn't look like an Amazon package, asterisk asterisk narrator voiceover, asterisk asterisk. The package was small, light, and innocuous-looking, but something about it made Ellie's skin crawl. Ellie opens the package cautiously. Inside is a single item, a cassette tape. Written on it in the same blocky handwriting are 3 words, "Play me now, asterisk." Asterisk cut to Ellie holding the tape up to the light, examining it, asterisk. Asterisk asterisk Ellie, asterisk asterisk, seriously, a cassette tape. What is this, 1985? Asterisk she rummages through the attic to find an old tape player, plugging it in, she presses play. The screen fades to black as a deep, distorted voice crackles to life, asterisk 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 voice on tape, asterisk asterisk. Ellie Harper, I know what you've done, asterisk Ellie's eyes widen. She rewinds the tape, pressing play again, but this time the voice continues. Asterisk 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 voice on tape, asterisk asterisk. Do not tell anyone about this tape if you want the truth. Meet me at the old park, under the oak tree, midnight. Asterisk Ellie sits frozen, her mind racing. What truth? Why her? And most importantly, who sent the tape? Asterisk 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 narrator voiceover, asterisk asterisk. Ellie knew it was dangerous. She knew she should tell someone, but curiosity has a way of making you do things you never thought you'd do. Asterisk the screen cuts to Ellie slipping out of her window at night, hoodie pulled tight over her head, clutching the tape in her hand as she disappears into the shadows. Asterisk asterisk narrator voiceover, asterisk asterisk, and as the clock struck midnight, Ellie Harper would find herself tangled in a mystery darker than she could ever imagine. Narrator voiceover. Midnight came quickly, and as Ellie made her way to the park, her thoughts raced. Who could have sent the tape? What could they possibly want? And most importantly, why her? The camera pans to the old park, abandoned and overgrown. Ellie hesitates at the entrance, looking around. The only light comes from the moon, casting eerie shadows through the trees. Ellie to herself, this is such a bad idea. She clutches her phone tightly, ready to call for help, but curiosity pulls her forward. The old oak tree looms ahead, its twisted branches resembling clawed hands. Ellie approaches the tree, her breath fogging in the cold air. The camera zooms in as she notices something hanging from one of the branches, a small, red envelope tied with black string. She unties it, her hands trembling. Narrator voiceover, Ellie's heart raced as she opened the envelope. Inside was a photograph, a faded Polaroid that made her stomach drop. Ellie stares at the photo in shock. It's a picture of her, taken just a few days ago. She's in her room, sitting at her desk. The angle suggests it was taken from outside her window. Ellie whispering, "What the?" Suddenly, there's a rustling sound behind her. Ellie spins around, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness, but there's nothing there, just the wind and the swaying branches. Narrator voiceover, Ellie wanted to scream, to run, but her feet felt rooted to the ground. And then she heard it. A faint whisper breaks the silence, low and distorted. Whisper off screen. Ellie. Why did you do it? Ellie's flashlight flickers, plunging her into near darkness. The whisper grows louder, seeming to come from all directions at once. Ellie shouting, "Who's there? What do you want from me?" The whisper stops abruptly, replaced by an unnatural silence. Ellie's phone buzzes in her pocket. She grabs it, her shaking hands struggling to unlock it. There's a new text message from an unknown number. Text message on screen. check your bag. Ellie frantically looks down at her backpack. She unzips it and finds another cassette tape inside, one that wasn't there before. Her hands tremble as she pulls it out. Ellie to herself, this isn't happening. This can't be happening. The camera focuses on her terrified face as the screen fades to black, leaving only the ominous sound of wind and distant whispers. Narrator voiceover: the deeper Ellie delved, the stranger things became. And with every step, it became clear this was no random game. Someone knew her secrets, and they weren't going to let her forget. The screen opens on Ellie back in her bedroom, pacing nervously. Her desk lamp casts long shadows on the walls. The new cassette tape sits ominously on her desk, daring her to press play. Her phone vibrates again, and she snatches it up. Another text message from the same unknown number. Text message on screen: play the tape, Ellie. Time's running out? Narrator voiceover: Ellie's head spun. Time for what? Was this some cruel prank? Or something more sinister? Ellie glances toward her window, suddenly aware of how exposed it feels. She pulls the curtains shut, double-checking the locks, and sits down. With a shaky hand, she inserts the new tape into the player. The screen fades to black as the distorted voice begins. Voice on tape: you can try to ignore me, Ellie, but I won't go away. You've hidden the truth for too long. It's time to face it. Check your closet. Ellie freezes, her eyes darting to the closet door in the corner of her room. The soft hum of the tape continues in the background as she stands up slowly, flashlight in hand. She approaches the closet, every creak of the floorboards amplified in the silence. She opens the door cautiously, revealing her clothes hanging neatly. Everything seems normal until she notices a shoebox pushed to the back corner. She pulls it out, dust flying into the air. Narrator voiceover: Ellie's breath hitched as she opened the box. Inside was something she hadn't seen in years, something she thought she'd gotten rid of long ago. The camera zooms in as Ellie pulls out an old, worn notebook. Its cover is faded, the edges frayed. Scrawled on the front in her own handwriting are the words, Project Ravenwood Confidential. Ellie whispering, no. This isn't real. How? How did they get this? She flips through the pages, her face pale as the camera shows sketches of an abandoned house, notes about missing people in the town, and cryptic symbols. The final page has one sentence circled in red: it wasn't an accident. Narrator voiceover: 2 years ago, Ellie and her friends had stumbled onto something they shouldn't have, something dangerous. They promised to keep it a secret, to bury it forever. But someone hadn't forgotten. Ellie's phone buzzes again. She hesitates before picking it up. This time, there's a photo attached, a blurry image of someone standing outside her house, looking up at her window. Ellie panicked. This isn't happening. This isn't happening. She grabs her laptop, desperate for answers, and starts typing furiously. She searches for anything connected to Project Ravenwood, but every article, every link seems to lead to a dead end. The screen on her laptop suddenly glitches, and a single message appears in red text. Message on laptop on screen: you can't escape the past. Narrator voiceover: Ellie felt trapped. The walls of her room seemed to close in as memories she'd tried to forget came flooding back. But she wasn't just a victim of her past anymore. She was a target. The camera cuts to a shadowy figure standing outside Ellie's house, barely visible through the curtains. The screen fades to black as ominous music swells. Narrator voiceover. Ellie thought the truth was buried, but the deeper she dug, the more it became clear. Some secrets refuse to stay hidden. The screen opens with Ellie sitting cross-legged on her bed, the old notebook open in front of her. She flips through its pages, her hands trembling as faded memories start piecing together. Her voice trembles as she reads aloud. Ellie reading, Ravenwood House, July 14th. Midnight, do not tell anyone. The camera pans to her face, wide-eyed with realization. Ellie to herself, how could I forget this? We swore never to talk about it again. Ellie's thoughts are interrupted by a knock at her door. She jumps, slamming the notebook shut. Her mom opens the door, peeking in. Mom, Ellie, are you okay? You've been acting weird all day. Ellie forcing a smile. Yeah, I'm fine, just stressed about schoolwork. Narrator voiceover. Ellie lied through her teeth, but the truth was clawing its way to the surface. Something had happened at Ravenwood House 2 years ago. Something that left scars no one could see. Asterisk. Her mom lingers for a moment, looking concerned, then leaves. Ellie locks the door behind her, her back pressed against it as she exhales shakily. She grabs her phone and dials a number hesitantly. The name on the screen reads, Mason. The camera cuts to Mason, a wiry, scruffy-haired boy sitting in his room, gaming headphones around his neck. His phone buzzes and he picks it up. Mason answering, Ellie. Wow. Haven't heard from you in forever. What's up? Ellie urgent. Mason, do you remember Ravenwood? The night we broke in. Mason goes silent on the other end of the line, the color draining from his face. Mason. Ellie, why are you bringing that up? We agreed. Man, you think you can bury the past. You think you can walk away from what you've done. Ellie confused. What are you talking about? We didn't do anything. Man, didn't you? You trespassed. You destroyed what was sacred. And because of you, I lost everything. Mason steps forward, trying to calm the man. Mason, look, we were just kids. We didn't mean to. Man snarling. You mean to tell me that doesn't matter? The truth always matters, and tonight you'll see why. The man throws the journal onto the ground. Ellie and Mason glance at each other before Ellie picks it up. She flips through the pages and sees something new: photos of herself and Mason, taken over the past week, alongside the other friends who were with them that night. Ellie shocked. You've been watching us. Man coldly. And now it's your turn to understand what it feels like to lose everything. The screen flashes as lightning strikes outside, plunging the room into darkness. When the lights return, the man is gone. Ellie and Mason scramble to leave, racing out of the house and back into the woods. Narrator voiceover. They thought they were free, but some truths have a way of following you. And for Ellie and Mason, the nightmare was far from over. The final shot shows Ellie back in her bedroom, the journal clutched tightly in her hands. She stares at her phone as another text buzzes.